Hello friends, welcome back to the next session on Service Operations Management. Now let's begin with our learning. In this particular session, we'll be understanding and dealing with the concepts of controlling and managing the quality of product, the learning objectives. At the end of this particular session, the learners will be able to understand what do we mean by or how do we define controlling and managing the quality of product, what are the various activities that are being undertaken in controlling and managing the quality of product, and lastly, why and how the importance of controlling and managing the quality of product is important in the organization. Now let us understand what do we mean by controlling and managing the quality of product. Quality of product plays a very important role when we deliver a certain product or a certain service to the consumers in the organization. Any product that is being offered to an individual as a part of a service or as a part of a consideration, it is very essential to see that we deliver a qualitative product to the customers. The customer pays a certain amount of to us, and accordingly he is expecting a better return on the investment. When a particular amount of money is been given by a customer to an individual manufacturer or to a purchaser, that is to a retailer, he expects that whatever quality that he is desiring, he gets that particular quality from the product that he is purchasing. So acceptance sampling and processes control approaches are used in statistical quality control. And the concept of statistical quality control comes into existence wherein we try to deliver a certain amount of quality to a customer. Now, controlling and managing quality in the organization is essentially important because ultimately when the product will be reaching to the customers, his purchase decision will be dependent only on the qualitative factors. If the product is qualitative, the decision will be taken very immediately. But if the product is not qualitative, the decision may be denied, and accordingly, the product that he is going to purchase will not be purchased. And hence, in order to control and manage the quality of product, the various statistical tools, techniques, and measures can be applied in a business organization. Those particular statistical control techniques are the significant use of charts, bar diagrams, pie charts, and the access the levels which identify about how do we identify and control the quality of product. This particular quality of products can be assessed on the basis of various product samples. When in an organization, when the manufacturing activity is being there on a continuous or an ongoing basis, we can randomly select a sample of a certain product, and accordingly, the product quality can be assessed and it can be checked. So on those particular basis, the assessment of quality of product can be easily identified, and on those particular basis, the assessment can be undertaken that whether the sample resembles to the quality of product or not. And hence, the goal of the organization is always to see that we should control the quality of product at the maximum level, and we must always try to deliver the qualitative products to the consumers. Now, let us understand what are the various ways to control the product quality. The first way to control the quality is understanding what quality is. So unless and until the organization or the business firm or the company does not understand that what the quality is, we are not going to develop the quality for a certain product. So understanding the quality is essentially important. Quality is a part of a standard which is been set by certain government authorities or by agencies, and the perceived level of a consumer, that is as per his thinking, as per his mindset, what he is expecting to a product to be. So that is what a quality defines or what it can be measured is. Building a solid product strategy. So the ways to control the product quality is we need to develop a proper and solid product strategy, wherein on which basis what the product will be manufactured, what will be the components of a certain product, and on what basis or modifications the product quality can be defined and it can be set. So building an effective product quality strategy is essentially important. Implementing a quality management system. So when we have an effective quality management system in place in the organization, every product that has been moving from one product to another product, one assembly line to another assembly line, one machine to another machine, it has been assessed, it has been checked, and accordingly on the basis of QMS, that is quality management system, we can easily identify whether the product that is being created or whether the raw material to the finished goods product that is being passing on is of qualitative nature or it is not of a qualitative nature. And hence implementation or having a quality management system is essentially important. Making quality a part of your company's culture. So in order to control the product quality in the organization, we must try to build or we must try to inculcate a habit of quality in the organization culture itself, wherein the participants of the organization, whether it is an internal participant or the external participants, the employees, the peers, the people, the participants, the shop floor management, the product that has been used or the raw material that has been manufactured and it has been consumed, everything should be qualitative. And hence, when the quality culture is being implemented or incorporated in the business organization, only then the qualitative product can be manufactured and ultimately it can be delivered to the consumers. Performing the product and market testing. So here, when the product is ultimately ready to be delivered to the customers, we must perform a product and market testing for a certain product, wherein for a part of a constitution, the free samples may be distributed to the customers, and accordingly, the feedback from the customers can be taken. That is, what does they like about the product and what does they dislike about the product, and hence collecting the positive as well as the negative feedbacks about the product is essentially important. And hence, when there are more number of positive feedbacks are being observed, then we can say that there is a better quality for a certain product. And at times, if a certain negative feedbacks for a certain product have been received, then accordingly, how improvements in the quality can be undertaken so that the remaining customers also give a positive feedback about your product. And hence, product and market testing of distributing the free samples, assessment the quality of a certain product is essentially important. And on those particular basis, the quality control measures can be implemented in the business organization. Always strive for quality. So always an organization must strive for quality, and they must always try to see that how do we deliver, how do we identify and deliver a better qualitative product to the consumers and to the people at large. And hence, striving for quality by the management or by the organization or by the manufacturing unit is essentially important. Now let us understand what the various steps of process improvement that can be implemented in a business organization. So for the quality management perspectives, there are three factors or three parameters that one needs to consider. Number one is the quality control. Number two is the quality assurance. And number three is the quality planning. So in terms of the quality control, these particular activities are on the basis of quality plan. So whatever quality plan that we have, the various activities, that is the testing activities are being undertaken, and hence it is the ultimately resultant is the qualitative product. So on the basis of quality plan, we can identify and we can test, measure and analyze that whether the quality control techniques are being implemented or not, whether the plan that has been set, that is a step or series of activities that was being taken, whether they have been conducted or not, and how the product resultant is, whether the product is qualitative or not. And hence, quality control measures plays a very important role in understanding the quality management system that is being implemented in a business organization. The second perspective that is being related is the quality assurance. Quality assurance, that is, what do we assure or what assurance do we provide to our outsiders or the stakeholders? So at a certain stages, we have a responsibility towards our stakeholders. That is, what quality product will be delivering, what assurance we have given to them. And on the basis of the stakeholders' responsibilities, we must always try to fulfill and see that their responsibilities are being fulfilled, their requirements are being met, and accordingly, we are conducting a certain series of activities in a better consideration. And hence, those fulfillment of activities, and hence, quality control measures or assurance as to the participants or the stakeholders' responsibility is essentially important to identify as to how do we deliver a qualitative products to those individuals. The concept of stakeholders' responsibility focuses on how do we prevent or how do we try to create or reduce or minimize the defects in the product. And those particular defects will be only controlled or can be minimized only with the effective process improvement cycles which can be implemented in the business organization. The third perspective that is being related is the quality planning. So with respect to the quality planning, we have a quality management prerequisites, that is QM. So in terms of the QM, that is quality management prerequisites, there is a certain concept that is been identified, and accordingly, we need to prepare a plan or a series of activities based on which the quality management system can be implemented and a well-planned series of activities can be undertaken in a business organization. The prerequisites can be divided further into two types. That is a quality plan that is related to a certain project or a quality plan which is related to a certain enterprise. So it may be related to a specific activity or it may be related to a series of activities. And hence, the quality planning is essentially important in a business organization. And hence, the quality management system is been focusing on the steps or the process that needs to be undertaken in a business organization for improving the quality is on the basis of three parameters. That is, the quality control, the quality assurance, and the third is quality planning. Now let us understand what are the various quality control tools. Number one is the checklist. Number two is the fishbone diagram. Number three is the control chart. Number four is the stratification. Number five is the Pareto chart. Number six is the histogram. And number seven is the scatter diagram. So these are the various quality control tools on which basis the various tools or measurements of quality can be undertaken, and an organization can easily identify and assess what is the quality of goods and services that have been manufactured in business organization. It may be related to either the manufacturing unit or it may be related to the service organizations. So if it is a service organization, whenever a particular service is been delivered to the customers, it can be identified or it can be calculated on the basis of any one of these particular types. May it be a checklist, a fishbone, a control chart, a stratification, a Pareto chart, histogram, or a scattered diagram. Scattered diagram, usually you must have seen on the various graph papers, the scattered dots have been identified, and on those particular basis, the control tools and techniques can be applied. Now let us understand what are the various types of quality inspection. The various types of quality inspection are: number one, that is pre-production inspection, which is also denoted as PPI. Pre-production inspection, which is taken before the actual production activity is being started. The second is during the production inspection, that is connoted as DPI. That is, whenever the production activity is being undertaken, during the production activity, the quality inspection can be undertaken, and hence it is called as DPI, that is during the production inspection. The third step is the pre-inspection inspection. So pre-shipment inspection, that is PSI. For a pre-shipment inspection, it has been undertaken when the finished goods are being ready and they are ready for shipment. So when the goods are lying in the godown or in the warehouse and the goods are of a physical nature, that is of a finished goods nature, then such type of inspection or quality inspection that is being undertaken is pre-shipment inspection. The fourth type of quality inspection is container loading or loading supervision inspection. So in case of a container loading or loading supervision inspection, when the goods are in transit, that is, they are being moving from one place to another place, one location to another location, the inspection that is being undertaken in the transit is called as a loading supervision. And lastly, the fifth is piece by piece inspection. So wherein each and every single sample of a certain product is being undertaken and the quality of those particular products are being inspected. Now let us understand what are the various strategies or steps for quality inspection. Number one, on the basis of product itself, we have the quality control. So that is the first step or the first strategy on the product wherein the quality control techniques or measures can be implemented. The second perspective or the product on the basis of product and on the basis of processes, the quality assurance. So when we have a concept of quality assurance, the various certifications, that is ISO, International Standards Organizations, can be implemented, and the assurance of the quality can be assessed, or it can be measured, and it can be modified, or it can be assessed. The third step or the third strategy that can be controlled is the product, the combination of the product, the processes, and the company, wherein it can be called as a combination of TQM, that is total quality management. And hence when the product, process, and company comes together, the concept of TQM, that is total quality management, can be implied or it can be incorporated in a business organization. Now let us understand what are the four elements of a Deming cycle. So the Deming cycle is a particular concept which focuses on the continuous quality improvement model, which focuses majorly on the four sequence or series of activities, that is plan, do, study, and act. So as we have the concept of quality management cycle of PDCA, plan, do, check, and act, in the same way, Deming has provided a certain concept or a series of cycles in which he undertakes a certain activity or a series of activities of four elements, that is planning, doing, study, and acting. And in this case, Deming has observed or he has given a certain theory or a composition in which the series or one cycle of activity, that is planning, doing, studying, and activity, should be continued for 3 times. So when planning, doing, studying activity has been done for the 1 level, again it should be continued for the 2nd level, again it should be continued for the 3rd level. So when the 3 cycles or 3 sequences of the Deming cycle is being completed, the quality management improvement can be identified in a better consideration, and the product is also of a better consideration. The next process or steps for improving the quality is using the umbrella. So the umbrella of quality focuses on 3 parameters or 3 factors, that is Number one is the quality management system. Number two is the quality assurance system. And number three is the quality control. So on the basis of umbrella of quality, one can easily identify as to how the quality of the product can be improvised, it can be created in a better consideration, and how we can improve the quality of the product in the short run as well as in the long run. The next perspective or the process for the steps for improving the quality is QA and QC monitoring, which is also called as quality assurance or quality control monitoring. The concept of QA and QC monitoring is based on 5 factors. Those 5 factors are risk management, measurement and analytics, internal controls, the process improvement, and lastly, the policy and procedures. So if all these factors have been considered in a stable organization, then there is no doubt that the organization can have a better effective control of quality with respect to quality assurance and quality control mechanisms or monitoring in existence. Now let us understand what are the various 8 universal principles of quality management. Number one, the first principle is the main customer or the ultimate customer at the focus. Number two, the second principle is the leadership skills and qualities that needs to be incorporated in the business organization. The third principle is the involvement of the people, that is people within the organization and people outside the organization. The fourth principle or the fundamental underlying is the process approach, that is what process or activities or series or sequence of activities that we are following. So process approach. Number 5, the fifth principle that focuses on systematic approach to the management. So what approach does the management have and what focus of activities or series of or plan of activities are being undertaken by the management. The sixth principle focuses on the concept of continuous improvement, that is the concept of Kaizen. The seventh principle focuses on factual approach to the decision making, that is on what basis or on what facts the decision making undertaken strategic criteria is being implemented. And lastly, the eighth principle focuses on mutually beneficial supplier relationships. So how we have a relationship between our suppliers and the dealers and the vendors. So a visual representation of controlling and controlling process quality is essentially important in a business organization. And when we say that we need to obtain the higher qualitative product and better delivery to the customers, we must always try to aim to see that how the process and activities in the business organization are being conducted in a very qualitative way. And hence, the act of managing all the activities in qualitative concern is essentially important. And only then the perfection of quality can be brought into the organization. Quality management, it includes establishing a quality strategy which develops the quality assurance and plan of activities or a series of activities for the organization's upliftment. The customer will purchase the product of an organization only when the qualitative product is being delivered to them. And hence, unless and until there is no upliftment in the quality of a certain product, there will be no involvement of new customers and the existing customers will not get in for a repetitive purchases for your product. And hence, quality control, quality assurance is essentially important in a business organization. And it plays a very important role in identifying about how do we consider those activities in the short run as well as in the long run. And hence, effective feedback or mechanism as to control of quality is essentially important in the business organization. Now, let's summarize what we have learned in this particular session. In this particular session, we have understood what do you mean by controlling and managing the quality of processes or the products. What are the various problems and issues that have been associated while controlling and managing the quality of product? And lastly, how do we implement the continuous improvement strategies in controlling and managing the quality of product? I hope you must have enjoyed the learning in this particular session. We will continue with our learning and stay connected. Thank you for your patience in listening. Thank you.